Hello friends, in this video I'm going to discuss one of the very important theorem in congruences, Fermat's theorem. Let us come to the statement Fermat's little theorem, or simply I can say Fermat's theorem. Statement is, let P be a prime and suppose that P does not divide A. Then we have A power P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. This is Fermat's little theorem or Fermat's theorem. Here P is any prime and the condition is that P does not divide A. Then we have this congruence A power P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. Now before coming to the proof of this theorem, let us understand this statement with the help of example. Okay, if I consider or let P to be equal to 5 and A is equal to 2. If P is 5 and A is 2, then 5 is a prime and clearly 5 does not divide 2. Then a power p minus 1 is equal to 2 power 4, which is 16, and it is congruent to 1 modulo 5. Since 5 divides 16 minus 1, this is definition of congruence. Okay, hence verified. Same way, if I take p to be 3 and a is equal to 7, then 3 is prime and 3 does not divide 7. Then a power p minus 1 is equal to 7 power 2, 3 minus 1, 2, which is 49, and it is congruent to 1 modulo 3, since 3 divides 49 minus 1, that is 18. Clear? This is Fermat's theorem. Clear? If P is any prime and condition is P does not divide A, then we have this congruence A power P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. Clear? Now we come to the proof of the theorem. Now we will going to prove this theorem. We will start by considering the first P minus 1 positive multiples of A. Positive multiples of A. That is the integers A, 2A, 3A up to P minus 1A. Clear? We will first start with considering P minus 1 positive multiples of A, that is the integers A, 2A up to P minus 1A. Now, in the first step, we want to prove none of these numbers or none of these integers are congruent to 0 modulo P. First, we will prove this part. Our claim 1 is claim 1. None of these numbers A, 2A up to P minus 1A is congruent to 0 modulo P. That we will now going to prove. None of these numbers A, 2A up to P minus 1A is congruent to 0 modulo P. Clear? Now if K is one of the numbers from 1, 2 up to P minus 1, then K is relatively prime with P. K is any number between 1 to P minus 1, then K will be relatively prime with P. That is GCD of K and P is 1. Clear? Means if I take P to be 5, then all these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 are relatively prime with 5. Clear? Same way here, if K is any one of the number between 1 to P minus 1, then K is relatively prime with P. that is GCD of K and P is 1. Clear? Now, if Ka is congruent to 0 modulo P, that we want to prove none of these numbers is congruent to 0 modulo P. Let us start with contradiction. If possible, let Ka is congruent to 0 modulo P. Then by definition of congruences, this will imply P divides Ka. Clear? Now, GCD of P and K is 1. Therefore, by Euclid's lemma, Euclid's lemma, is if A divides BC with GCD of A and B is 1, then A will divide C. This is Euclid's lemma. Clear? Now, if P divides Ka and we know GCD of P and K is 1, then by Euclid's lemma, P will divide A, and it is not true. Not true by given condition. By given condition, we have P does not divide A. Okay. This is not true by given condition. Therefore, none of the numbers from A to A up to P minus 1A is congruent to 0 modulo P. Clear? Therefore, claim 1 is proved. Therefore, Ka is not congruent to 0 modulo P, where K is one of the numbers 1 to up to P minus 1. Clear? Therefore, claim 1 is proved. Ka is not congruent to 0 modulo P. Clear? Now, this will imply P does not divide Ka. If Ka is not congruent to 0 modulo P, that means P does not divide Ka. That means when these numbers Ka are divided by P, we will get some remainder. Okay. That is, we can say the numbers A to A, P minus 1A leaves remainder when divided by P. I can write like this, when divided by P. Clear? When divided by P, they will leave some remainder. Or in other words, I can also write like this, or we can say the numbers A to A, P minus 1A, when reduced modulo 2, modulo P, must be among the numbers 1, 2, 3 up to P minus 1. Okay. When we divide these numbers by P, we know we have some remainder, and remainder will be among 1 to P minus 1. That is clear. On dividing by P, remainder will be from 1 to P minus 1. That is clear. Okay. Now we will claim second. Up till now here we have seen here that first thing is that none of the numbers is congruent to 0 modulo P. That is first part. And second, that if none of the number is congruent to 0 modulo P, that means P does not divide Ka, means on dividing these numbers by P, there will be some remainder, and remainder will be among the number 1 to P minus 1. That is all clear here up to here. Okay. Now next we will prove that the remainders are all distinct. Means all these numbers will leave different remainders. Among these, we will have different remainders. Okay, no two numbers from this have the same remainder. That is our next claim. Okay, now we will now going to prove the numbers a to a up to p minus 1a must all be distinct or different after reducing them modulo p. After reducing them modulo p. That is that is that is the number a to a up to p minus 1a must all be distinct after reducing them modulo p, or remainders are different. In other words, remainders are different. Okay, that is we are now going to prove on dividing by p, these numbers will leave different remainders, and remainders are among 1 to p minus 1. That is our next claim. Clear? Now, again we are now going to suppose that the number ka leaves a remainder r on dividing by p, and same way let the number ma leaves a remainder r on dividing by p. Okay, where k and m are one of the numbers 1 to p minus 1. Let us suppose that two numbers ka and ma leaves the same remainder r on dividing by p. Clear? Now we will prove that the numbers are same. Okay, this k is equal to m. Okay, now from here ma is congruent to r modulo p using the commutative property. Using the commutative property of congruences, this can be written as r is congruent to ma modulo p. I can write like this, and using this and this and using the transitive property of congruences, we have ka is congruent to ma modulo p. Clear? I can write like this. Now here a is common. Okay. Also a is common, and p, given that p is prime and p does not divide a. Therefore, GCD of a and p will be 1. Clear? P is prime, and given that p does not divide a, only divisors of p are 1 and p does not divide a. Therefore, GCD of a and p will be 1. Clear? Therefore, we can cancel out a from both sides. Therefore, we have k is congruent to m modulo p. I can write like this. A can be cancelled out. Okay. Therefore, k is congruent to m modulo p. Clear? Now, since both k and m are between 1 and p minus 1, therefore, they must be equal. They must be equal. Since both numbers are among 1, 2, 3 up to p minus 1, the only possibility is that they must be equal. Clear? Therefore, when we reduce the p minus 1 numbers a to a up to p minus 1a, we obtain, when we reduce these p minus 1 numbers modulo p, we obtain distinct members of the sequence 1, 2 up to p minus 1. I can write like this. Okay, when we reduce these p minus 1 numbers modulo p, we obtain distinct members of the sequence 1 to p minus 1. I can write like this. Okay. Now here we have p minus 1 numbers, and here also we have p minus 1 numbers. Okay. Here is p minus 1 numbers, here also p minus 1, and all are different on reducing modulo p. Okay. Therefore, since 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 there are exactly p minus 1 of these, the only possibility is that the only possibility the only possibility is that the former are rearrangement of later. I can write like this. Okay. I can write like this. Okay. Clear? Let us first understand up to here what I mean to say. Since there are exactly p minus 1 of these, the only possibility is that former are rearrangement of the later. Let us first understand this with the help of example. If I write or take if a is 3 and p is 7, okay, then the sequence a, 2a, 3a up to p minus 1. P minus 1 means here p is 7, that is a, 2a, 3a, 4a, 5a, 6a. Or on taking a to be 3, here 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. This is my first sequence a, 2a, 3a up to p minus 1a. Now on reducing modulo p that is 7 gives, now on reducing these numbers modulo p, on dividing 3 by 7 and taking the remainder, we have 3 here, 6. Now when 9 divided by 7, remainder is 2. Same way, 12, 7, that is 5. Here 1, here 4. These all are the rearrangement of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Which is clearly rearrangement of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. This is the sequence A to A up to P minus 1A, and this is the sequence 1, 2, 3 up to P minus 1. Okay. Same way we have written here also, since there are exactly P minus 1 of these 1, 2, 3 P minus 1, the only possibility is that former are the rearrangement of the later. Okay. Clear? Now it is clear? Okay. Therefore I can say, now we come to the proof again. Therefore, the integers a to a up to p minus 1a is congruent modulo p to 1, 2, 3 up to p minus 1 taken in some order. Okay, taken in some order. I can write like this. Taken in some order, I can write like this. Clear? Means when reduce modulo p, we have the numbers 1, 2, 3 up to p minus 1 taken in some order. Not necessarily the sequence is like this 1 to p minus 1, but we have a rearrangement of these numbers. Clear? Now we come to next step. Now we have congruences. Now we will multiply all these congruences. On multiplying all these congruences together, we obtain a, 2a, 3a up to p minus 1a is congruent to 1, 2, 3 up to p minus 1 modulo p. I can write like this, modulo p. Okay, that is, here a is repeating p minus 1 times. I can write like a power p minus 1, and here we have p minus 1 factorial is congruent to p minus 1 factorial modulo p. Clear? Okay, here we have this. Now GCD of p and p minus 1 factorial is 1, and we can cancel out p minus 1 factorial from both sides and will reach to the statement of the theorem, that is a power p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p. Okay, now in order to cancel out this, we can also follow the steps one by one. Here we can again write like this, a power p minus 1, and here this is p minus 1 into p minus 2 up to 3 into 2 into 1 is congruent to p minus 1, p minus 2 up to 3 into 2 into 1 modulo p. Okay, now using cancellation property one by one. Now GCD of p minus 1 and p. GCD of p minus 1 and p is 1. We can cancel out this from both sides and we are left with p minus 2, p minus 3 up to 2 into 1 is congruent to p minus 2, p minus 3 up to 2 into 1 modulo p. Same way, GCD of p minus 2 and p is 1. We can now cancel out p minus 2 from both sides. This is a p minus 1 into p minus 3 up to 3 into 2 into 1 congruent to p minus 3 up to 3 into 2 into 1 modulo p. Okay, now repeating the same steps, we will reach up to here. A p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p. This is Fermat's theorem. Okay, I can use this property. GCD of p minus 1 and p is 1. GCD of p minus 2 and p is 1. Same way, GCD of 2 and p is 1 also. And we can reach up to here. Clear? This is Fermat's theorem. Hence proved. Clear? Means if p is any prime with the condition p does not divide a, then we have this congruence a power p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p. Okay, now it is clear. Now we will now prove the theorem, or we will have a result in which we will drop the condition that p divides a. Okay, now we come to the result in which this condition is not required. Condition is p does not divide a. Okay, now we have a result free from this condition. Okay, this is corollary to this statement. Here, if p is a prime, then if p is prime, then a power p is congruent to a modulo p for any integer a. for any integer a. Means here the condition of p does not divide a is dropped. Clear? Means it is free from any condition. If p is any prime, then for any integer a, we have this congruence. A power p is congruent to a modulo p. Okay? This is more general form of Fermat's-Little theorem or Fermat's theorem, I can say. Now we are going to prove this statement. If p is prime, then for any integer a power p is congruent to a modulo p. We have two conditions here. We will consider two cases here. First is p divides a or p does not divide a. Okay. Case 1. We will consider two cases. Since we have no condition here in the statement, we will prove by considering two cases. First case is p divides a. Okay. If p divides a, then we have a is equal to pk for some integer k. Okay. Now, a power p is equal to this p power p and k power p. I can write like this. Now, a power p minus a is equal to minus this, or we can write like this, taking k to be p to be common. Since we want to divide by p, I can write like this, p power p minus 1, k power p minus k. Clear? This will imply, now since p is integer, k is integer, this whole is an integer. So I can write like this, p divides ap minus a. I can write like this, since this is an integer only. Clear? Therefore, a power p is congruent to a modulo p. Hence, first part is proved. Now, case 2. If p does not divide a. Now, p is a prime and p does not divide a. Therefore, by Fermat's theorem, I can write like this, a power p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p. On multiplying by a, both sides, on multiplying by a, we have a power p minus 1 into a is congruent to a modulo p. That is, a power p is congruent to a modulo p. Hence proved. Okay. Means if a is any integer and p is prime, then we have this, ap is congruent to a modulo p. Hence proved. This is a result free from any condition. The condition which we have taken in Fermat's theorem of p does not divides a. Okay, here we have no condition of any type. Here p is any prime and a is any integer. Then we have this result, a power p is congruent to a modulo p. Clear? That's it for this video. If you have any queries or any suggestions, please write to me in comment box. In my next video, I'm going to discuss some more results related to Fermat's theorem and will also discuss problems related to Fermat's theorem. Okay, thank you.